right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something that I think you guys are going to be interested in. We're going to be looking at a trading course, and this one claims that it can turn anyone into a master trader.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter what experience you have, whether you've never even looked at a stock chart or if you've lost money in the past.
Interesting.
It's from a company called North Pole Associates. They're led by this guy named Kalpesh Patel. And let me tell you, their promotional material is bold.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. We're talking consistent profits in any market, AI-driven analysis, and they even talk about developing the right trader mindset. All very exciting stuff.
Sounds promising.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound promising. But is this the real deal? Is this really the key to cracking the stock market? Well, that's why we're here. We're diving into the material. We're going to see what we can uncover. So what do you think? What stood out to you when you first looked at this?
You know, one of the things that I noticed right away was how they really zeroed in on some of those common investor mistakes.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Like letting fear drive decisions or chasing quick profits without actually doing any research.
Okay, yeah, so those classic pitfalls that so many people fall into, I'm definitely guilty of a few of those myself.
Yeah, and you know, those mistakes are so common.
But they're claiming that they've got this system, a systematic approach and this mindset training that can help you avoid all that.
Right, and that's where this techno-funda thing comes in.
Techno-funda. What is that?
Yeah, so it's about blending, you know, the technical analysis, looking at the charts and the patterns, but then also combining that with fundamental analysis. So you're also looking at the company's financial health, you know, all that good stuff.
So it's not just about looking for patterns, it's about really understanding the company behind the stock.
Exactly. You got to look at the whole picture.
Makes sense. But then they start throwing out these terms that sound kind of, I don't know, almost mystical.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Golden cross and death cross. It's enough to make your hair stand on end. What are those all about?
Well, you know, they might sound spooky, but those are actually based on something called moving averages.
Okay, yeah, moving averages, right.
It helps to smooth out the noise in the price fluctuations. So like a golden cross, that's when you have a short-term moving average that crosses above a longer-term one.
Okay, yeah, I think I've seen that on those fancy charts.
Right, and that's often seen as a really, really bullish signal. And then on the other hand, you've got the death cross.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's the opposite. So that's when the shorter one dips below the longer one.
Okay, so basically, if you see a golden cross, you buy, and if you see a dead cross, you sell. Easy.
Well, hold on. It's not quite that simple.
Oh, no.
You know, these patterns, they can be helpful, but it's risky to rely on just those alone. You always have to consider everything else that's going on. It's just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so it's not a foolproof system, even if it sounds like it.
Exactly.
You know, so you've done your techno-funda, maybe you've seen a golden cross. What's next? What do you do then?
Well, that's when they bring in stage analysis.
All right, break that down for me.
So they're talking about the stock's life cycle. Like they break it down into 4 different phases. You've got accumulation where like smart investors, they're starting to get in.
Okay.
Then you've got the markup where the price is going up as more and more people are jumping on board.
Yeah.
And then you've got distribution where those early investors, they're starting to sell off.
Cashing out, right.
Exactly. They're cashing out. And then lastly, you've got markdown. That's where the price starts dropping because everybody's trying to sell.
Oh, okay. So the goal is to get in during the markup and then get out before that distribution hits.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Ride that wave.
Yeah.
But how do you actually know what stage you're in? It sounds pretty tricky.
It is. It is. You know, you have to be really careful. You have to watch the price action, the volume, all those different market indicators.
So it's more than just seeing a pattern. It's understanding what's actually driving those patterns.
Absolutely. And here's where it gets even more interesting. They start talking about using AI for analysis.
Okay, hold on. AI for stock picking. Sign me up. But seriously, how does that even work?
Right. Well, AI, you know, it's got the power to look at tons and tons of data. We're talking financial statements, news, even like social media sentiment.
Wow.
It's looking for patterns, for opportunities. Some people even say it can predict future prices.
Oh, okay, now that really does sound too good to be true.
It does. But remember, they're not just focusing on AI.
Oh, right.
They're also talking about finding what they call market leader stocks.
Market leader stocks. What's that all about?
So those are like the big players in their industry. Think like, you know, Apple, Amazon, Tesla.
Okay, the companies that are really kind of shaping the future.
Exactly. Strong financials, innovative products, and they usually keep growing. So the course basically says, focus on those leaders. They'll outperform over time.
So it's about betting on the winners. I can see the logic there.
Yeah.
But I got to ask, Even with the AI and those market leaders, there's still got to be some risk, right?
Oh, absolutely. No investment is completely risk-free. And the stock market, well, it's famous for unexpected twists and turns.
So even if you follow all the rules and you get everything right, there's no guarantee.
That's right.
Well, that's kind of a bummer.
It is. It is. But the course does talk about this. They really stress managing risk.
Okay, good.
They talk about setting stop loss orders to prevent big losses and things like diversifying your portfolio.
So it's not just about winning, it's about protecting yourself when things go wrong.
Exactly.
It's about balancing the potential for gains with the reality that, hey, sometimes you're going to lose.
Exactly. And you know what? That's really just scratching the surface. There's so much more to unpack here.
Oh, there is? Like what?
Like this whole idea of building a winning mindset, and they talk about community learning too. And ultimately, can the system actually deliver those consistent profits they promise?
Okay, so we've got a lot more to talk about.
We do.
This is getting interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to take an even deeper dive into North Pole Associates
Yeah.
and their whole master trader formula when we come back. So don't go anywhere.
Okay, so where were we? Oh, yeah, this whole idea of developing a winning mindset.
Yeah, the winning mindset, they make a big deal about that in the material. They've even got like a whole module dedicated to it.
They do. They do.
So I was kind of curious about that. Like, is this some sort of secret meditation technique for traders?
Not exactly. I mean, it is true that managing your emotions is super important when you're trading.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's more about, discipline, patience, being able to stick to the plan even when market's going crazy.
Right, right. So resisting those knee-jerk reactions when you see your stock taking a dip.
Exactly. Fear and greed, they can really mess you up. You start making impulsive decisions, and that can totally derail your strategy.
Yeah, I can see that.
So a strong mindset, that's what helps you stay focused on the long-term goals. You make rational choices based on your analysis, not on how you're feeling at that moment.
Okay, so it's like, don't let your emotions cloud your judgment.
Exactly.
But how do you actually do that? Like, how do you develop that kind of mental toughness? I mean, do they give you any specific exercises or techniques in the course?
Yeah, they do.
They agree. Okay.
They talk about things like visualization, positive self-talk. They even suggest journaling to keep track of your progress and help you spot patterns in your own behavior.
Interesting. So it's almost like treating trading like it's a competitive sport, where you have to train your mind as much as your skills.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay. So then they talk about community learning.
Right, right. They really emphasize that.
They do.
They argue that connecting with other traders can really help you accelerate your growth.
Yeah, I can see that. Like trading can be kind of lonely, especially if you're just starting out. So having a group of people to bounce ideas off of, to share experiences with, that could be huge.
Absolutely. And they actually have a whole online forum where students can connect, ask questions, learn from each other.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So it's like having a whole team of trading buddies to navigate the market with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so I got to circle back to this whole AI thing again. I mean, it still sounds kind of like science fiction to me.
Yeah.
Is this something that's really accessible to the average investor, or is it just for like, the Wall Street pros?
Well, AI is definitely becoming more and more accessible. It
Yes.
is. Yeah. There are tons of tools out there now, even for people who are just starting out. Some platforms offer, AI-powered portfolio management. Others use algorithms to provide you with insights and analysis.
Okay, so you don't need to be like a coding whiz to take advantage of this.
Not at all.
That's good to know. But how much can you actually rely on these AI tools? Can you really trust them to make your investment decisions for you?
Well, that's a good question. And it's important to remember that, AI, it's a tool, not a magic solution.
Okay, yeah.
It can definitely help you analyze data, find patterns, potentially help you make better decisions, but it's not going to do the thinking for you.
Right, right. You can't just blindly follow whatever the algorithm tells you to do.
Mm,
You still need to understand the basics, do your own research.
exactly.
Okay, so it's more about using AI as a supplement.
Right. And the course actually emphasizes that too. They talk about combining AI with their other strategies.
Oh, okay, so it's all kind of integrated together.
Yeah.
So technofunda, stage analysis, those market leaders, the AI, it all works together.
Yep. It's all part of the system.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're not just letting the AI run the show, you're using it to get a more complete picture.
Exactly.
Okay. And they even warn you about relying too much on any one indicator.
They do. Even AI.
Yeah, even AI. So it's about having multiple layers of analysis before you make a move.
Right. Confirmation.
Okay. Now, they also talked about something called pyramiding, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I got to ask, what is pyramiding? It sounds kind of intriguing.
Yeah, so basically it's this strategy where you actually add to your position as the stock price goes up.
Oh, so you're doubling down on your winners.
Sort of. You start with a smaller investment, and then as that stock starts performing well, you gradually increase your holdings.
Okay, okay. So you're letting your winners run and you're kind of adding fuel to the fire as the momentum builds.
Exactly. It's a way to try and maximize your profits while still, managing your risk.
Okay, I like that. And they talk about how that's different from averaging down, right?
Right, which they say can be really risky.
It's averaging down.
That's when you buy more of a stock as it's going down, hoping that it'll bring your average cost down.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to kind of buy the dip and make up for your losses.
Yeah, but that can be a really dangerous game.
How so?
Well, what if the stock just keeps going down?
Oh, you just keep losing more money.
Exactly. You're just
Well,
throwing good money after bad.
oh, check. Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. So they're really emphasizing a more disciplined approach with pyramiding, right?
Right. Focusing on those upward trends and not trying to force a win out of a losing situation.
Okay, so it's about recognizing when a stock is actually doing well, riding that wave, instead of trying to, I don't know, fight the current.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to the whole idea of understanding market cycles and trends.
Right, which is something they really focus on.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. The winning mindset, AI, market leaders, pyramiding.
Mm.
But I think there's still this big question that we haven't really answered yet.
Oh, what's that?
Can this course actually deliver on its promise? Can it really turn anyone into a consistently profitable trader?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, and I
Mhm.
think that's what we really need to dig into next.
Okay, yeah.
We need to look at the limitations of trading systems, talk about realistic expectations, and ultimately figure out if this is really the key to unlocking that master trader potential.
All right, well, stay tuned, folks. We're going to be right back to wrap up this deep dive into North Pole Associates and their system. Okay, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into this North Pole Associates trading course. We've looked at their approach, talked about the psychology side of things, even got into AI and market leaders. But I think the big question is, can this course actually deliver? Can it really turn anyone into a consistent, profitable trader?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate question, right? And it's tough, honestly, because while the course does present a structured system, it introduces some really good concepts. The reality is no system can guarantee you'll always make money in the stock market.
Okay, so no matter how good it sounds, it's not some kind of get-rich-quick scheme.
Right. Trading always has risks, and the market's always changing. So even if you have the most sophisticated strategies, unexpected things happen, the economy shifts, sometimes you just get plain unlucky.
So you're saying even if you learn all the techniques and you have that winning mindset, you're still not guaranteed to win.
That's right. Even the course itself says trading has risks. They stress managing that risk. But it's so important for anyone thinking about this course, or any trading course, really, to be realistic.
Yeah, you're not going to find some magic formula that takes away all the risk, right?
Right.
It's more about understanding the risks, managing them well, and accepting that sometimes you will lose.
Exactly. The course does give you tools to try to minimize the risk, but it's up to the individual trader to use those tools well and make smart decisions.
Okay, so then what would you say is the real value of this course? If it's not a guaranteed path to riches, what does it actually offer someone who wants to learn to trade?
Well, I think it gives you a good foundation, the basic principles of trading. It gives you a framework for how to approach the market and some tools for analyzing stocks and managing risk. It also introduces some useful concepts like stage analysis and understanding market cycles.
And they really push that community aspect too, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Having that network of other traders, mentors, experienced people, it can be really helpful, especially if you're new to all this.
So it's not just about the information, it's about getting the skills, finding a community to support you as you learn.
Right, exactly. The course is like a roadmap, but the real journey starts when you put that knowledge to work and start making your own decisions in the market.
It's about taking ownership, finding your own way to trade, not just following someone else's system.
Exactly. And that's something to think about even if you decide this specific course isn't for you.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway for our listeners? What should they remember as they explore the world of trading and investing?
Knowledge is key. The more you understand about the market, the better your decisions will be. And don't forget, no system or course can guarantee success.
It's about constantly learning, adapting, being disciplined enough to stick to your plan.
Yeah, and maybe most importantly, be realistic about what you expect and remember that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into trading strategies. We hope you found it helpful, maybe even a little inspiring.
My pleasure.
And for all you out there who are looking to become traders, keep learning, keep exploring, and never stop seeking knowledge. Until next time.